Surely you remember Jonathan Krohn. How could you forget? The teenage wonder kid wowed the 2009 CPAC conference with this passionate defense of conservative principles.
Respect for life, less government, and personal responsibility.
But a whole lot has happened since 2009, so we checked back in with Krohn to ask him, how are things going for Republicans now?
All right, so Jonathan, you and I have met before. You're sort of a up-and-coming young conservative star. You were in town this past week for the Value Voter Summit. You know, here in D.C., when people talk about politics, they do it at places like the Palm or at a think tank. But with you, I'd like to go somewhere a little bit less stuffy. All right, Jonathan, I want you to give us your take on how things are going in the Republican Party right now.
Well, the Republican Party in America has had a number of issues throughout its history, just like any party in America or any other country. I think that maybe the most important part is, though, that like any political party, it has an agenda. The point is not to say that the agenda is either good or bad. That's not what I'm talking about. However, the point is that all parties have their own agenda and their own ideas. The Republican Party is, like Nietzsche used to say about parties in his book, The Antichrist, a party looks at reality and sees what it wants to see. Regardless of whether the Republicans actually end up taking over the House, the Republican Party, if it focuses on issues like reducing the deficit and cutting taxes, will be able to have strong support from both sides of the aisle and members of the Republican Party. I think many members of the Republican Party have the wrong assessment of Barack Obama when they say he's evil or that he wants to destroy the country. I think he's a perfectly good individual who wants to help the country, but his definition of what helps the country is very different from mine and other members of the Republican Party. Certainly there are extreme facets of the Republican Party, just like there are extreme people on the left, but I personally don't adhere to any more further right view. I'm not a libertarian, I'm not a Ron Pauler or even a Rand Pauler for that. And I believe that probably the best issue for the Republican Party or any party to run on right now, the most strategic position any party could be in, is a position that embraces, first and foremost, a policy of reducing the deficit and reducing the national debt. I think that people in the Republican Party who, like the Ron Pauls and the Rand Pauls of society, of the Republican Party, really detract from the more, should we say, effective message of, as I mentioned earlier, lower deficits, lower national debt, less spending, effective messages by capitalizing and talking about such extreme ideas as destroying the entire Federal Reserve, or that we should allow businesses, that we should support businesses that are racist, things like that. Those kinds of ideas detract from the good in the Republican Party and make some of us that call ourselves conservatives, it makes us look a little less, not as much less smart as I would say, less serious. And I think it's the same on the left. When you have extreme people who even like, for instance, people who believe that socialism is a good idea on the left, and people like that, like Van Jones, extremists on the far left, they make the left look less serious and less smart, and it really detracts from that. What we need is a real.
Are you gonna have your Capri Sun?
The Republican Party is coming back to its roots and basic principles, which I have discussed in my book, Defining Conservatism, which is more or less about what unites all facets of Republicans and conservatives. The smaller government is, the more ability people have, the more opportunities people have to be free. Respect for human life, and it's not just about abortion, it's about the idea that all individuals have a right to life, or that the idea of life is a right of the individual. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Dude, nobody plays this anymore. I gotta go. I gotta go read David Hume.
See ya!
Can we hang out tomorrow?